Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, where we bring you conversations with the top business minds on Long Island and around the nation every week. Featuring expert consultants and small business owners who have found success but are also willing to share their top tips, failures, and give gritty, matter-of-fact advice based on their firsthand experience. Now, let's get down to business on Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello and welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Business Banking at Giovia Financial Credit Union, along with Donyshia Boston Hill, CEO, keeper of the brand, marketing and digital agency.
We're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship. We bring you weekly business advice, tips, tools, and services that help you grow your business. Plus, we interview the top business leaders in the industry.
And helping provide us with business empowerment today is a passionate leader in the nonprofit field, and he works for an organization that's very near and dear to me. Chris Feehan, Development Assistant at Cerebral Palsy Association of Nassau County. Chris, welcome to the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little about yourself. How did you get involved in the nonprofit world and CP Nassau?
Well, my name is Chris Feehan. I grew up in Whitestone, Queens. I moved to Mineola, Long Island with my wife, Diane, about 25 years ago. We have twin 21-year-old daughters who are pursuing their master's degrees, currently one in education and one in writing. And I've had a very varied career. I started my career at Verizon, where I worked for over 20 years. When I got downsized from that job, I moved to a development company here on the island. And then I worked for Fox Broadcasting. After that experience, I was looking for something different in my career, something that was a little more fulfilling, a little more rewarding. And I sought out and found a job at the Cerebral Palsy Association in Nassau County. And it's been an incredible experience. Also, in my free time, I'm the commanding officer of a group called the 501st Legion's Empire City Garrison. And I do a lot of volunteering on the weekends, dressing up as a Star Wars character and doing good in the community. So that kind of fit right in with what I had been doing with that group for 14 years prior. And when I was looking for a change, I kind of started thinking about doing something in the nonprofit sector rather than doing something in the corporate world.
Can you tell us a little bit about the programs for CP Nassau?
Absolutely. They're an incredible organization on the island. They have over a dozen residences where they let people with cerebral palsy live more independent lives and self-directed lives. They have a large facility in Bayville where they have over 40 participants that live in that facility. They also have a large facility in Roosevelt where they have a medical center and a children's learning center that has over 200 children that they assist with varying special programs based on their needs. They also do a number of events around the island, different charity walks, polar plunges, things of that nature, to help raise funds to keep those programs going and to keep them, funded as best as possible.
And for those people listening, can you just tell us a little bit about the effects of cerebral palsy on humans?
Well, cerebral palsy can be either something that's genetic or something that is an injury that's sustained during birth or during pregnancy. And it could be something that affects you for the rest of your life. It could be a brain injury that affects your motor skills. Sometimes it affects your cognitive ability. It's something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. And what the services at CP Nassau do is try to help people that are in that situation reach their full potential, reach the best that they can be, and be able to decide what types of treatments they want and where they want to be in their life. I think that the organization, much more than some of the state organizations or other organizations, allows for the self-direction and self-determination that lets them decide, what types of services they want and where they want to be and try to reach their full potential.
One of the things that I think is just pretty fantastic is the singing group. And I was my mind was blanking out.
Creation.
Yes. Thank you so much. So there's an annual event, and I'm hoping that returns. I know with COVID it was kind of interrupted, but where the Nassau Pops, partners with CP Nassau, and the singing group celebration comes up, and they are phenomenal. There's a gentleman who I've seen at a couple of other events, and I'm blanking out on his name again. He's always wearing a hat. He has glasses, a goatee, African-American gentleman, wonderful. His voice, that baritone, is just wonderful. And when they get up and sing, there's not a dry eye in the house. I mean,
That's one of the many activities they offer. They have creation. They also have the Thunderbolts, which is a sports team. I mean, anyone in this world, any human being in this world needs a purpose. They need to have something that they enjoy doing, that they get enjoyment out of. CP Nassau gives them that facility. We have a day hab program for adults in our Roosevelt Center that lets people with cerebral palsy interact, socialize, do activities, go on expeditions, do things that they normally might not be able to do on their own. We have the assistance, we have the care, we have the medical facilities, and we have the programs to help them reach that full potential. And I think that's one of the most important things that you can offer anyone. We also have a very intense MOVE program. It's mobility opportunities via education, and that's very specialized equipment that let some of the individuals who might not have use of their legs or may be wheelchair bound, it lets them stand erect. It lets them get around. It lets them be eye level with people. That is so empowering. I can't describe to you. I've seen some of the children who have used some of this equipment in our center. You can see the smiles on their faces. You can see the excitement in their eyes. And now we're expanding that program to adults as well, and it needs funding, and that's what I'm here for. I work in the development department, and we do whatever we can to try to help raise funds for the organization to keep these programs going, to keep the innovation going, to find new ways and new opportunities for people with cerebral palsy to reach their full potential.
And innovation is certainly a word that comes to mind when I think of CP Nassau. I was blessed. I've taken the tour of the Roosevelt facility a couple of times, and the MOVE program in particular is so moving to see someone get into the equipment and be able to stand and come to you, and they're eye level with you, and that's all they want. They want just to you're not looking down at them. You're not having to crouch down. They're at your level, and it's something that we take for granted. And it's amazing just to see the smile on someone's face when they are able to experience that. And I think that are they allowing tours now for CP Nassau?
Unfortunately, due to COVID, they're still very restricted, but they are trying to get back to that. They are starting to ease up some of the restrictions, but we had to be very careful. COVID hit us very hard, just like it hit many other medical organizations. Right. And we took every precaution necessary. And we have heroes in our organization, our DSPs, who came in. We had DSPs who were staying over at Bayville. Wow. To limit, any kind of exposure to COVID, and we praise them every day for their heroism and their determination to give the people the services they needed during that very tough time, and we're still coming out of that. And unfortunately, it was a huge hit to the organization.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have to protect the participants in this program. You have to protect their health. So totally understandable. Unfortunate. I do look forward to the time though when that happens, because I think being able to experience that, and I think also some of the events that CP Nassau has done, they've demonstrated the equipment, and I think to see it is just incredible. I'm sure there's YouTube videos or something.
Oh, absolutely. And you can check out our website at cpnassau.org, and there's a long list of different services that we offer, different programs that we offer. And we want to make people mindful that this is a very worthy cause. This is something that is sometimes neglected. I mean, the state has underfunded this. The state continues to not really pay attention to some of these programs. And I had somebody come up to me at the golf outing. My mom had come to we had a golf outing a few months ago. This is a fundraiser. My mom was there. And one of her friends was there, and she's like, well, do you have any idea when there might be a cure for this? And, I had to kind of explain to her, this is not something that you magically cure with a magic pill. And there's a lot of organizations that are working towards, cures for different, ailments. This is not that kind of thing. This is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. We're trying to make that life worthwhile. We're trying to make that life the best that it can be, and we're trying to help these folks reach their full potential. And I don't think there's anything more honorable than that. And that's why I was drawn to this organization and why I sought out this organization when I was looking for, a change in my career.
Now, you said there's really no cure, but is there prevention that you can put in place or?
Not really. I mean, basically, we know some of the causes. We know some of the effects. Basically, it's something that these folks have to live with. And there are some treatments that will, help them lead better lives, more productive lives. There are different ways that they can reach their full potential, but they may have limitations. And that's something that you have to face. You have to face that even with the best of care, the best science out there right now, there are going to be limitations. And we help those folks work through those limitations. We help them reach whatever their full potential is so they can lead productive lives.
You are listening to Tara Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston Hill, and our guest today is Chris Feehan, Development Assistant at Cerebral Palsy Association of Nassau County. We're talking misconceptions. I'm sure there are a lot of misconceptions about your work. Can you tell us what are some of the most kind of common misconceptions?
Basically, for instance, what I do in the development department, a lot of people think it's just, asking for money. It's not quite that simple. It's more raising awareness about the organization, what we're doing, the good that we're doing in the organization, and trying our best to do events that will get people's attention, get people to come out for fun events that will help raise money for the organization. We do things like polar plunges. We're doing a 5K run, walk, and stroll. We try to do things that are in the community that raise awareness for our organization and what we're all about, and that we can have our participants actually participate in. Our 5K run is a 5K run, walk, or stroll. We have some of our participants participate in their wheelchairs, in their assistive technologies, so that they can be part of this exciting experience, and people can see them and see who is benefiting from these different programs. And that's very important to us. We always like to include our participants in whatever we're doing for any kind of fundraising activity. You were mentioning the thing at the Tilley Center with Creation. That's another event that we showcase, the good work that we're doing and how productive these folks can be and how happy they are with the services that they're getting at CP Nassau.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important. It's the engagement because I do think that for fundraising, it used to be years ago, you're sending out a letter asking for donations, you're writing for grants. That whole process is done. I'm sure people still do it. I'm sure it's effective in some way. But it's the engagement. It's getting people, actually involved with the organization where they truly get an education and what goes on there in many different ways.
It helped educate me, and it's why, I chose to seek out CP Nassau specifically. In my other free time, I've been working with the 501st Legion's Empire City Garrison for years, and I had relationships with CP Nassau doing their Festival of Trees at the Cradle of Aviation. I, as I mentioned, I had a very varied career. I started out in Verizon, was downsized in my 40s, went on to a development organization managing the development team, left that job because it was one of those jobs that was just soul-crushing and life-sucking, and sought out another position, and I got a job at Fox Broadcasting, which for me was a dream job, working in the city, working with Fox Broadcasting, doing their IT management, managing some of their ad sales clients, fixing their computers, working with teams of technicians, getting their computers ready. Unfortunately, I lost that position due to the Disney merger. Disney bought out Fox. They said, we're bringing in Disney folks. I'm sorry, you guys are all gone. We were like, what? So I found myself, at about 48 years old, late in my career, trying to reinvent myself, trying to figure out what was I going to do next. I went on a lot of interviews and realized, this wasn't making me happy. This wasn't really my calling. This wasn't really what I was meant to be doing. And I started looking at my finances, seeing, could I take a, lesser salary working at a nonprofit? And after some discussions with my wife, she's like, do what really makes you happy. Start looking into maybe some nonprofits, some other organizations. The first place I went was CP Nassau, looked them up, trying to see if there was any kind of positions I would be good for. Found a position in the development department. called our contact who I had worked with before at the 501st Legion doing the Festival of Trees. So I think I had my foot in the door a little bit with some, some rapport with this person. She said, you're not going to believe this, Chris. She's like, we haven't had a position open in 15 years. Somebody's retiring. We actually have a position open if you'd like to come in for an interview and, see if it's a good fit for you. It was one of the best interviews I ever had. She took me on the tour of the Roosevelt location. I said, this is where I have to be. This is something I really, just like a bell went off. Something just clicked in my head. This is what I should be doing. Yeah, well, and I was hooked from that point on.
There are no coincidences.
No,
that was made for you.
I think it was a karma thing that somehow what goes around comes around, and I think I was meant to be there.
What are the events that you like the most? You mentioned something. There's a variety of different events, a variety of ways to become engaged with the organization. But what are some of your favorites?
Well, my favorite was one that we did this year, which was one that I partnered with the 501st Legion, being part of that group, which is Star Wars characters doing things for charity. We had an actor from Star Wars offer to come to an event. He just out of the blue from California said, I'm going to be there in July. If you'd like me to come and do like a little convention or a little thing, I'm at your disposal. And we're like, absolutely. His name is Dominic Pace. He played Bounty Hunter on The Mandalorian. We said, absolutely. Of course, I work at CP Nassau, so I was like, I brought it to CP Nassau, and I said, listen, we might be able to put something together here. We might be able to get this hall. It's free for nonprofits, Levittown Hall. We can get some of the other Star Wars groups around. We can try to, raise some funds. It was a great little event. We had over 700 people come through there over a 3-hour period. We started enlisting some other celebrities. We had some wrestlers there. We had an actor there who was a local actor. We had these different Star Wars groups participate, like the Rebel Legion and the Saber Guild. And it was just a fun little event where we did Blast a Trooper, where we let kids shoot at the stormtroopers with Nerf darts. We had a trash compactor set. It was just something that brought both of my worlds together. My Star Wars world that I do on the weekends and the stuff I do with CP Nassau. It was a perfect marriage, and we were very proud to put that on, and we're hoping to do it as a yearly event going forward.
Now, how does someone approach you or CP Nassau for assistance and help?
Well, they can check out cpnassau.org, see the programs that we have available, and reach out to one of our coordinators and see if there's a program that might fit that individual's need. We have programs that run the gamut, from physical therapy to psychological assistance, to our Children's Learning Center. If there's a school that's not properly meeting your child's needs, their special needs, we have experts at our Children's Learning Center that may be able to help them and help them reach their full potential.
That's amazing. And it seems like you're definitely a movie buff from your work with the 501st.
Oh, absolutely.
And so is there any correlation between the movie Avatar and CP Nassau and Cerebral Palsy over? Like, is there any activation or experiences that exist that people may not be aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, no. But I am a huge fan of Avatar.
Yeah, well, I could see the connection there, because you're going into a pod and suddenly you're in a body in an alien
in a body that you can now stand up and walk.
There's new technologies like VR and virtual reality, and I'm sure that that's something that they can investigate in the future to give folks different experiences that they might not be able to experience, with some of their physical limitations.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first.
Well, one of the other things that we are doing, when we're talking about different innovations and trying to different ways to raise money, and that grants and donations and things like that are sometimes difficult. Well, during COVID, it was lights out. I mean, basically, all our events were canceled. All our avenues to raise money were pretty much shut off. And one of the things I'm most proud of is I helped restart our eBay store. We had an eBay store that we had used occasionally to sell items that we might get that people said, you feel free to take this and you can sell it and, raise money for the organization. But we weren't using it regularly. During COVID, we realized, what are we going to do? We have no way to raise money. We had a large art donation of about 250 paintings from a local artist named Susie Gack Peel, and we had no way to sell them. So we said, I suggested, why don't we start the eBay store up again, start listing this stuff regularly, and see if we can start selling some of the stuff. Well, the art started selling like hotcakes.
Wow.
We started getting the word out to some of our donors. People started donating some items, some DVDs, CDs, video games, knickknacks, collectibles, and the eBay store just took off. And we've been doing that now for almost 2 years. Currently, we have some Buyer's Choice figures. We have some Disney figures, all types of things, CDs, DVDs. We've raised over $30,000 over the past 2 years just through that facility. So to your point before, we do have to reinvent and rethink how to raise money in this environment. When some of your avenues are cut off, you have to try to come up with new avenues to raise money, and that's been a huge boon to the organization.
You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Chris Feehan, Development Assistant at Cerebral Palsy Association of Nassau County. My name is Donyshia Boston Hill, along with Ray Schwetz on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
What are some of the things that maybe folks might not know about CP Nassau? Like, what are some of the best kept secrets?
Just the focus that they have on self-direction, whether it's the individual themselves or their families, being able to put their futures and their decisions in their hands. Let them have self-determination and determine the path of their life and the services they're going to receive. And that is at the heart of everything that we do. Not only do we provide the highest quality of services to the individuals that we serve, but we let them decide the nature of those services and what they want to pursue. And that's something that again, I think is the most important thing for a human being, is to give them that dignity, that respect, that we want to know what do you need, what do you want out of your life. And I think that no other organization keeps that at the forefront more than CP Nassau.
Yeah, I would agree. One of the things that I had seen during the tour, and forgive me because I'm not remembering the name of the work-study program, but it was a program where there were participants in the program that they had a job, they had a paycheck that was coming to them. And when I met with them and talked with them, that was what was most exciting to them. They were so happy to show up basically in a 9-to-5 environment, socially with others, and produce products. And I'm trying to think of what they were. It was maybe stationery or mailing or something to that effect. But it was a work-study program, and that was like the number one thing that they shared with me, was just that they said they wanted to be doing something that had an impact in the world, that they're part of the community. They're an active participant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everybody needs a purpose. Everybody needs something that they're working towards. And if you're doing something that's benefiting others, that's even better. And that's one of the reasons this is such an incredible organization to work for. We've had a really tough time over the past couple of years, especially with some losses in staff during COVID, and just general attrition. And because, let's be honest, in this field in nonprofits, we can't always pay, what people are expecting. All I can tell you is that CP Nassau, the satisfaction you get, it's more than a paycheck. It's more than just, what you're going to get at the end of the week. The satisfaction you get from helping others and seeing the good work that they're doing and helping these individuals reach their full potential, you can't put a price on that. And that's why I chose to work there, and that's why I think anybody who's in this field, who's a DSP or any other clerical type work, please check out our job listings and consider working for a nonprofit, because the benefits personally far outweigh any paycheck.
Yeah, it's a calling for sure. And one of the things that I see that's very encouraging, I do a lot of work with the Imagine Awards with Ken Cerini, and CP Nassau has been honored a few times, and I believe they're part of the Lifetime Achievement now for the Imagine Awards. One of the things that I like seeing is the collaboration of nonprofits, and I know CP Nassau does do some collaboration with other nonprofits. Is that correct?
Yes, I think we do work with the ACLD and a few of the other organizations. And also, we keep talking about cerebral palsy. We also help in other arenas as well. In our Children's Learning Center, we have individuals with Down syndrome and other learning disabilities that we have special experts there that can help them as well. So it's not only limited to to cerebral palsy. We do help in some other arenas as well.
And what are some of the things that are kind of coming up next for CP Nassau? What are some of the events that people can look forward to?
Well, we're trying something new this year in October 2nd at Theodore Roosevelt Park in Oyster Bay. We're reinventing our Polar Plunge. We normally would have our polar plunge in March, and the past 2 years, last year we did it virtually because there was still some lockdowns and there's still some issues. We decided to shift that to more of a fall event and call it the Great Pumpkin Dunkin'. So we're doing a fall event with some pumpkins, some fall themes, and we're also still going to do the dunk in the park there. But that's a way again of reinventing it, making something fresh, making something new. There's less competition from other polar plunges that may be going on, and it's something that I'm hoping will be a staple going forward. And we're doing our 5K run again that we do every year at Eisenhower Park in November. And I think it's November 6th. And that's something that's always fun. And again, something that we can really engage our participants. It's a run, walk, roll, or stroll. So we have our participants participating. We have our staff participating. It's a fun event all around and a great event to help raise money for the organization.
Work that you do, you don't do it by yourself. You're a part of a big team.
Yes.
I know your wife has also been involved.
Yeah, my wife volunteers. My daughters have volunteered at the 5K, and the other folks we have working in our development department, absolutely devoted and always working towards doing the best they can for CP Nassau. And one of the things my wife always says to me is you don't seem as stressed. I'm just as stressed as I was before, but when it's self-imposed stress, when you're doing something because you want to be doing it and you're stressing out because you want to do your best, it's a totally different type of stress than, exterior stress being imposed on you. So everybody there has a very good attitude, has a very positive attitude, and always is striving to do their best for the organization.
How do we find you? Can you give us some contact information, how people can be involved, how people can donate? What's the best ways?
Everything is on cpnassau.org. Information about our programs, information about the events we have coming up, information about our eBay store. We're Benefit You CP Nassau on eBay. You can check out our eBay store. 100% of all the proceeds from that eBay store go directly to CP Nassau, and all the items in our eBay store are donated by supporters who are just trying any way they can to help the organization. I can also be reached if you have any questions at Feehan, Feehan, at cpnassau.org. I'd be happy to direct you to the right individuals to get you started with the organization.
Chris, we'd like to thank you for being here with us today. You've shared a wealth of information, and so thank you.
Thanks for having me.
This is Chris Feehan, Development Assistant at Cerebral Palsy Association of Nassau County. I'd like to leave you with DB's philosophy. Life has no limitations except the ones you make. Les Brown.
We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston Hill, your co-host and producers. This is an NCC Foundation production. Visit nccradio.org for more information. We're available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.